Good morning to one and all present here on this beautiful, energetic Jnana Yagna today. Thank you to each and every one of you for being here with us today. We are very pleased to be able to welcome those of you that have been with us for a long time now, as well as those who are new to this activity. Today marks the second day of second series of stage-wide webinar on sensitizing HIs about NEP 2020 in the Western region, in particular Maharashtra and Goa. We are proud to be able to host it today at this wonderful place
maybe the join करतो
with all of you.
आणि होतं सगळं
I, Dr. Prashant Parad, Deputy Advisor, NAAC, would like to take this opportunity to greet and welcome you all on behalf of the entire NAAC family for the state-wise webinar on sensitizing HEIs about NEP 2020 and bringing HEIs forward for NAAC A&E process. Before we get started, I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude and thanks to our Honorable Director, Sir, Professor S.C. Sharma, for inspiring and motivating us to conduct this webinar. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome Dr. B.S. Sapkal, ex-Vice Chancellor of Rashtrasanta Tukolji Maharaj Nagpur University, Nagpur, as our today's expert speaker in this webinar. I am very happy to welcome all Honorable Vice Chancellors, Principals, IKC Chairpersons, Coordinators, eminent faculties from all HEIs of Maharashtra and Diu Daman for this overwhelming participation. Now, I do not want to take much of your time to give you more details about webinar. Now, I would like to invite Dr. Devendra Kaudi, sir, Western Region Coordinator and Deputy Advisor of the NAAC, for his introductory remark. Devendra Kaudi, sir, please.
Yeah, thank you very much, Prashant, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, you're audible, sir.
Yeah, clearly. Okay, so nice. So, namaste to everybody. A warm welcome. Respected speaker of today's program, Vilas Sapkalji, my colleague, Dr. Leena Madam, Dr. Manjunath ji, Dr. Prashant sir, and dear participants. It's a pleasure to conduct this third webinar in the series for Maharashtra related with the sensitizing of NEP to the stakeholders of higher education in the state. NAAC has taken initiative, as Dr. Prashant has said, to proceed with the sensitization program all over the country. So being from Western region, all our officers have taken efforts to make this thing possible for the state of Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh and Gujarat. Today we are fortunate to have our own Sapkalji, who is very well versed with this process and involved in the policy making in Maharashtra state related with the NEP. Later, Dr. Prashant will be introducing
Zoom fit in kara.
Dr. Mane was to be here, but because of some his immediate assignment he got from the Secretary Higher Education related to the zonal meeting, so he has extended his best wishes to us. Probably Sir Rastogi ji, Principal Secretary, will also join later on to address the audience. The overall intention was that how this NEP is being implemented in the state, and in addition, how we can make it much more fruitful for upbringing the quality in higher education. From NAAC side, we share with you some 2-3 points where we are in the process of. Yeah. For example, multidisciplinary. This multidisciplinary approach, we are moving ahead with very nicely through our manuals. We have several, almost 10 to 11 types of manual related with various themes. Second, outcomes also we are focused on. Our criteria number 3, criteria number 5 and 7 is related with that. Then if we talk about academic bank of credit, that we are asking in our profile session to the institution when they upload the SSR. We are also focused on National Academic Depository and we are encouraging and motivating the institution to move ahead with that concept. Similarly, skill development, if we talk about, that is also focused in our criteria number 3 and various metrics. So overall, the 4 philosophical parameters which is being talked about in NEP, that is basic norms, public self-disclosure, good governance and outcomes, all these 4 philosophical norms are very well related, and we have implemented in our 7 criteria that are considered to be core functions of higher education institutions. Today, what Sapkalji will be talking about his experience and the way the things are being implemented in Maharashtra, specifically the NEP content, deliberating, and then he will also have a question answer session related with us. So without taking much time of yours, now I request Dr. Prashant to please proceed with the introduction of Sapkalji, and we may move ahead with the session of Sapkalji. Yes, Dr. Prashant, please.
Thank you, Devendra sir. Today we have with us Dr. V.S. Sapkar, presently Vice Chancellor of MGM University, Aurangabad, and ex-Vice Chancellor of Rashtrasanta Tukolji Maharaj, Nagpur University, Nagpur. It gives me immense pleasure that such an eminent academician is enlightening us regarding NEP 2020. I am sure he will not left anything unfolded regarding NEP 2020, and all the aspects will be crystal clear after his valuable discourse. Here is the short biodata of Sapkar sir. Sapkar sir is presently working as Honorable Vice Chancellor of MGM University, Aurangabad. He served as a Vice Chancellor of Rashtrasanta Tukolji Maharaj, Nagpur University, Nagpur during 2010 to 2014. He serves as an acting Vice Chancellor of Kavi Kulguru Kalidas Sanskrit Vidyapit, Ramtek, as well as Sant Gadge Baba Amravati University, Amravati. He has been nominated as an expert by President of India for selection of professor in chemical engineering at IIT Mumbai. He has been nominated as a member of Chancellor of Universities on Maharashtra State Council for Higher Education. He also nominated as an expert for establishment of Indian Institute of Information Technology and private university by Department of Higher and Technical Education of Maharashtra government. He has been appointed as the chairman of committee to survey for starting courses related to cyber law by Maharashtra government. He has been appointed as a member of Committee of Maharashtra Government to formulate policy for the award of Ideal Teacher in the state. He has been appointed as the chairman of committee by state government to standardize academic programs, examination patterns, and evaluation method in all the universities in the state. He worked as an expert for the selection of finance and account officers, control of examination in the other universities. He has been appointed as visitor nominee for the selection of registrar at Central University. He has been nominated as a chairman, All India Board of Post-Graduation and Research of AICTE. He has appointed as a chairman, Standing Appellate Committee of AICTE. He has been nominated of Search Committee for selection of Vice Chancellors for Rajiv Gandhi Technology University, Bhopal. He has been awarded for Distinguished Service Award by SGB Amravati University and ChemCon Distinguished Speaker Award by Indian Institute by Chemical Engineers and Leadership Award by Lokmat, Convocation Speaker Award by IST. So far, he has completed almost 14 PhD students, and he has guided more than 35 projects. He has total experience of 30 years in industry, teaching, research and administration. So I now invite Dr. Sapkar sir for his presentation. Sapkar sir, please.
Thank you very much for your kind words. It is indeed a great opportunity to be with NAAC today on this platform. Special thank to Dr. Devendra Kavde sir and authority of NAAC for giving this opportunity. As briefly mentioned in my experience, I was heading the task force for the state of Maharashtra to formulate the response against the documents prepared by MHRD And we prepared the draft policy for education in Maharashtra, and which was subsequently became a part of national education policy. And under the chairmanship of Dr. Raghunath Mashelkar, we have planned the execution of the provisions mentioned in the national education policy on various aspects. And as you know that in typical our educational system in our country, it is the uniqueness of this education policy that it is integrated the school education with higher education, professional education, vocational education, and uh, different branches of study. As you know that instead of 10 plus 2, it has become now 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4 up to the level 12, and undergraduate programs either 3 years or 4 years, followed by master's program either 1 year, with research program with 2 years, and then PhD. National Research Foundation coming in picture to support the research framed by the researcher and evaluated by peer review. As you know that this integration of the knowledge, this integration of the school education with higher education and research education has categorized our educational institution in our country, and which is aiming to create teaching intensive university, which has a very important role of teaching and of course research intensive university, which will have more emphasis on the research, and the large number of affiliated colleges, 40,000 plus, will be converted into degree granting autonomous institution after achieving certain accreditation and grading. I like to share the my views. Yeah, is my slide visible? My
Yes,
slide
sir,
is visible.
visible.
Uh, is my slide visible?
Yes, sir. It is visible. You may proceed.
Okay, fine. So these are the basically the main features of transforming higher education institution into multidisciplinary educational institution, bringing the different branches of study in single place. That means multidisciplinary education for holistic development, consisting of different branches such as science, arts, literature, sports, technology, engineering, vocational education, that is uniting the knowledge of different disciplines. And what is important that the students are uh, when they learn through this system, they become equipped with not only knowledge, skills, values, but also 21st century capabilities such as social, moral, ethical, emotional, and of course such as critical thinking, problem solving skills, and so on. So basically, the new architect of higher education is being thought of this process. And today's my emphasis will be on interdisciplinary, multidisciplinary education, as well as skill development, along with academic bank of credit and integration of language and outcome-based education, along with distance education. As you know that from our present gross enrollment ratio, we are uh, we are going for a higher level, 50% gross enrollment ratio, to bring around additional 3 crore students to higher education, and hence the importance of online open distance learning and online program will be of great emphasis. That will also ask for the phasing out of affiliation system over a period of 15 years through a graded autonomy, along with creating the program which has multiple entry and multiple exit, with 1 year of certification, 2 years of diploma, uh, 3 years of our undergraduate program, additional one more year, which will make 4 year multidisciplinary bachelor program. And this is multiple exit and multiple entry will need to be organized through academic bank of credit, which I will explain in detail. Recently, UGC has made the clear documentation related to the implementation of academic bank of credit to make the multidisciplinary education reality. And as you know that our aim is to stand globally by way of creating institution like Meru, multidisciplinary education and research universities. This will be, of course, possible when we talk about the faculty and institutional autonomy, which is responsible for creating, revamping the innovative curriculum, bringing together expertise and the components between the different fields. For example, as you know that it can be major and minor scheme, it can be two majors and minor scheme. Along with, what is important is combination, innovative combination of different branches of study, and that is possible through autonomy of faculty and institution, along with the engaging pedagogy and the continuous formative assessment system and student support will really give the expected outcome of national education policy. Not only create the competency among the students, but also it will help not only their capability to gain the to get the gainful employment, but also to become a startup, to enter into startup innovators and so on. And hence it is very essential that the integration of faculty along with clearly defined the process of not only the faculty selection, but also the well defined academic structure of the program, along with the implementation program coupled with research. As you know that the institutions which are engaged in undertaking the research has better quality at undergraduate teaching learning process. And hence it is expected that every district will have higher education institution which have more than 10,000 students and multidisciplinary programs to offer. This is possible when we enter into the era of light but tight regulation. As you know that at the center level, it is expected to establish the four verticals. One is responsible for accreditation, second is responsible for funding, third is standard setting of the program, and the fourth one is basically approval, or more like a regulation system. And hence when we talk about these aspects, that we need to understand that the overall development of educational system focusing on the creating the competent not only human resource, the students, but also researcher and also the faculty, which will really harness the global opportunity in the era of new architecture of employment opportunity as well as knowledge opportunity. And hence it is necessary to combine the professional education as a part of higher education system. And which is important is whether it is open distance learning program or whether it is private or public higher education institution, will have the same set of norms of our regulation, accreditation and academic standards. And hence the standalone technological universities will be becoming now multidisciplinary educational institution. There are, of course, very now most of us are well aware of these provisions. But what is important is implementation. As you know that the implementation plan was also decided by the Ministry of Education and giving the very clear format, structure format of basically more like your program in which well-defined action plans, the outcome, timeline, and the responsibility is given. If you talk about multidisciplinary system, the multidisciplinary system will always whether it is multidisciplinary, cross-disciplinary, interdisciplinary education. I was studying the education system after visiting Nanyang Technological University in Singapore as well as NUS, National University of Singapore, where it gives the problem solving skill by giving the approach and perspective of the problem by cross fertilization of idea. They talk about concept, proof of concept, application of concept, creating the ideas. Then of course the ideas are incubated and which is resulted into startup. Every PhD thesis is resulting into startup or creating the technology or patent. That should be the area where the, as you know that at the undergraduate level, school level, whether we are talking about 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4, the education starting at the age of 3, and it is called early childhood care and education, which is leading to the preparatory education, foundational education, middle school education, higher school education, and so on. But the concept is basically we are learning a lot of subjects at school level, but as we go vertically, we are trying to create basically specialization. But it is important now the major and minor concept with interdisciplinary aspect, that every subject, every expertise is required to have knowledge of different subjects in order to make the technology perfect. Why in our country the research and the product developed is not accepted by industry? Because it is not perfected by experts from different fields, and it is not backed by the commercial performance guarantee. And hence it is essential that we bringing the expertise together in the form of task force, which will apply the viewpoint, cross disciplinary, very comprehensive understanding, integration of different disciplines to address the complex and real world issues very effectively by putting the views in different angles, and hence it will be the complex problem will be solved. For example, when we talk about economic and data science, when we talk about accountancy and artificial intelligence, double major and minor, and will be the next era. There should not be, as you know that whether it is core elective, core subject, core electives, open electives, and electives from the different subject will be the integral part of the curriculum, and which will not only bring the interdisciplinary, but also it involves the different disciplines in the form of multidisciplinary education and research. If we talk about academic bank of credit, as you know that UGC has very clearly talk about yeah, academic bank of credit. As you know that when we talk about uh, integration of multiple entry and multiple exit phenomena, the UGC has a very well documented mechanism of academic bank of credit, which says that this is the virtual mechanism as a digital virtual online entity established by UGC or the central government to facilitate students to not only accumulate their credit, you accumulate, verify, transfer, and redeem. These will be the services provided by academic bank of credit. It will be regulated, established. The though it is individual, basically a part of registered higher educational institution. In order to, as you know, that the students for changing his career path depending upon its interest and talent is basically this is the facility created in order to deposit the credit for a period of 7 years maximum for the purpose of award of degree, diploma, certificate by the awarding institution. As it is mentioned that हे नाही होऊन राहिलं, पुढे नाही जाऊन राहिलं. Okay. Credit accumulation says that the facility in this bank, in this particular academic bank account opened by the student, can be not only used for transfer, consolidate, but also undergoing the different courses and the credit recognition. As you know that definition of credit, everyone knows about it, but the credit recognition means the credit earns through the registered higher educational institution for that particular program and transferred directly to academic bank of credit. The operating part will be basically registered higher educational institution, and credit redemption means the process of commuting the accrued credits in the bank of the student maintained in academic bank of credit for the purpose of fulfilling the credits requirement. That means if he wants to rejoin the program, he can redeem the basically credit, reuse the credit for, which is deposited in the bank for award of degree, diploma, certificate, or even it is also applicable to course of work for PhD program. And hence this gives him the great flexibility for entry what you call multiple entry and multiple exit. It is also said that the not only credit use but credit transfer is a mechanism by which this registered higher educational institution able to either receive or provide the prescribed credit to individual academic bank account of the student as per the, of course, the credit norms for the courses taken by the student and enrolled in the particular higher education institution. Registered higher education institution means, of course, the institution which will get registered in the academic bank credit under this particular regulation. Now, this is a national legal. Like, for example, if you know the national NAD, National Academic Depository, on the similar line, it will have basically the presence which will be useful for interdisciplinary and multidisciplinary academic mobility of the student. As you know, in higher education, the students are changing their interest depending upon the recent developments in the technology, in the market, in the project, and they are interested. For example, digital marketing has come in picture, or data science has come in picture. So basically, they can really change their interest depending upon the potential and the system available, and they can choose their learning path to attend the degree, diploma, or postgraduate diploma, or academic qualification. And hence the academic bank credit shall enable the integration of multidiscipline. As you know that he can earn the credit either through his open elective, core electives, or or core program, and then he can transfer the credit for the integration of any other discipline, leading to the desired learning outcome, which is very important to nurture creativity, innovation, and higher order thinking and critical analysis. As you know that the students have opportunity to enter the new fields by using these accrued credits as per their choice of courses. As you know that these are basically to promote the student centric. This is the facility which is not only student centric and learner friendly, but gives lot of flexibility, creativity, to develop creativity, interdisciplinary approach, and the student to select the best course or the combination of courses to suit their aptitude, quest for knowledge, their interest, their talent, and of course they want to pursue their field of interest. And it also permits students to also choose the space. That means if the students have some difficulty in coping up the studies, maybe financial, maybe in terms of their capability, they can really use this academic bank of credit and allow the student to tailor their degree. As you know that they can really get into the different combination of the programs, so that they can really get the degree of their specialization instead of rigid and regularly prescribed degree of the courses in the autonomous institution. As you know that they can complete by a multiple entry and multiple, that means anytime, anywhere, any course is the philosophy of this multiple entry and multiple exit phenomena. And whether it is degree, diploma, postgraduate diploma, or certificate courses, or course for PhD work, that is also possible in order to, and this will help greatly for the teaching learning process in distributed and blended manner. As you know that the student should learn either the blending of different programs and also in across the discipline in a distributed manner, so that though there is integration across the campus, but they can use the different campuses, universities, autonomous institutes with increased mobility. As you know that they can not only choose the different programs, different courses, different institutions, different degree, but they can also have their own space and a new combination. And it is definitely giving the best opportunity for lifelong learning. And as you know that it is formal, informal student of both time, part-time or full-time, and also the quest of knowledge, freedom to choose, and so on, so that finally uh, they uh, they attain their life goals. This is as you know that it is centrally organized, and the student will get unique account number, and it is authentication of credits by the banks, and that will be basically more of requirement of credits as essential component of study, that is choice based credit, undergraduate postgraduate programs. And this will only facilitate the students to not only utilize, but how this academic bank of credit will function. Basically they will deposit the credits awarded by registered higher education that means first the higher education system needs to be registered. There are already few higher education institutions already registered for the on this line academic bank of credit. And then with respect to particular courses, academic bank account of the students will validate the credits as per the norms from time to time. And they will not only they will not accept the document directly from the student, but it has to be routed through registered higher educational institution. It will register this one to ensure they will not only open it but maintain as well as close and validate the accounts of the student. Similar services are provided for credit acceptance, accumulation, credit verification, credit transfer, redemption for the student, apart from promoting its role as a stakeholder. And then of course the courses taken by the students online mode like NPTEL, SWAYAM shall also be considered for the credit transfer and credit accumulation. As you know that uh, the function of ABC are not limited to distance or non-contact mode and shall extend to amalgamate basically of various existing, and in future also new teaching learning models will come in picture. It may also consider the credits obtained by students assessed for theory, practicals, projects, and so on. But what is important is it has to be a defined curriculum content, curriculum transaction, educational technologies, the timing, continuous evaluation method in order to attendance, and of course the novel method of assessment shall be considered by the registered higher educational institution. And basically that will be of course inconsistent with the overarching policy and philosophy of the most important aspect of national education policy, and that is holistic and multidisciplinary education of this national education policy. As you know that interests of the student, credit earned deposited shall be valid for a purpose of redemption of degree, diploma, and so on. And the for verifying the duration specified and accepting the education institute subject to maximum duration of 7 years will be the part of it. As you know that this is come under the program which are under different uh, all higher education program either approved by AICTE, National Council for Teacher Education. All these aspects will be considered. Academic credit shall also facilitate credit recognition, as I explained to you that there are different facilities and so on. So in addition to the choice-based credit system undertaken by the student part of higher education program, in register also freedom to take additional courses. They can go for the additional courses, different courses with major two majors. At present we are talking one major and one minor, but now the concept is two majors and one minor, or even two majors and two minors, leading to the really utilizing the credits earned by the students also for the skill development courses that they can also be eligible for utilizing this. Credit obtained say basically by undertaking the courses in the registered HEIs during and after 21-22 alone are eligible for credit transfer, credit accrual and credit redemption through the academic bank. And hence it is necessary for carrying out the purpose of academic bank of credit. It is basically the concept which is, as you know, that the higher education chapters from chapter 9 to chapter 27 talks about various initiatives, either transforming the regulatory system or effective or professional education, adult education, Indian languages, and so on. And this is the implementation, and this ABC was one of the most important aspect of actionable point in national education policy with respect to the provision and the outcome. As you know that this was the structured policy in which this academic bank of credit was defined, and of course the expected outcome we have discussed, and it will be national level facility which will not only have the NEP, what we talk about NEP, increasing the program that is increasing the gross enrollment ratio, uh, and also credit transfer, academic bank credit, and as we discussed that this will help greatly the student who are also engaged in research. As you know that the students need to complete the PhD coursework, and also during the PhD program itself they can use this accumulated credit for achieving more and more subject knowledge which is connected with their research topic, which will make them, for example, whether it is, if it is engineering program, he can always get into more of modeling simulation. They may also get into economics, they may get ecology, they may get into these credits, which will make them more holistic in terms of approaching their complex problem. And hence when we talk about support by National Research Foundation and connecting, as you know that there is now co-authorship along with the educational institution in India and abroad, and that will be connected with the most important aspect of any educational system to come successful is basically the languages. As you know that the language is extremely important, and it is proposed the three aspect: National Institute for Pali Persian Prakrit, National Education Technology Forum, and this is basically not only focusing on literature and scientific vocabulary of Indian language. It is essential to not only develop uh, the content in the local languages, and as you know that many of the programs are getting now translated, and for that the training to the faculty for the research on languages, language faculty, and basically it is essential, it is very much given emphasis on strengthening national institutes for promotion of classical language and literature, and of course as you know that the cultural awareness of our Indian knowledge system, along with promoting traditional arts, lok vidya, and strengthening National Institute of Languages and Literature, will be basically the outcome of the will make the outcome extremely successful. As it is said that whether the language is not only with respect to the normal learners, but also for those who it should be friendly with the Divanga people, with differently abled people who will be provided with educational software, and this will increase the access for disadvantaged group. As you know that the focus of this education policy is it's basically the quality, inclusion, accessibility, and affordability. And hence, when we talk about use of technology, it is National Educational Technology Forum, along with digitally equipped students, teachers, and uh, schools will be basically in the form of level, as it is mentioned that universalization of early childhood care and education to secondary education by 2030, along with, of course, the Sustainable Development Goals 4, which will say that the providing the opportunity to everyone, the lifelong learning, and also the highest quality education in order to realize the individual potential to the maximum level. And hence, though it is mentioning the foundational learning, numeracy skill, but 100% GER by 2030 to bring back the 2.5 crore students out of school children into the main one, and of course the equitable education system along with inclusiveness of all the sections, whether it is gender sensitization or whether it is economically backward or socially backward learner. And hence we need to have the curriculum integrating Indian culture, values, ethos, ICTs, and 21st century skill. Combining this education policy is focusing on the multiple approaches to integrate the knowledge of different disciplines. And that is the beauty of national education policy, which is a dynamic system, which is a continuous system from early age, that is age of 3 to the highest level of outcome based education. And as you know that the examination has given less importance as compared to the learning outcome, and hence it will at least every child should come out with at least one skill, and there will be the common standards as the standard setting institutions, standard setting agencies will be set up. That will enhance not only the employability and gross enrollment ratio, but they will become, all the HEIs will become multidisciplinary and integrated. They will have also integrated teachers education. As you know that the teacher education has given uh, very great emphasis to create energize, dedicated, and high quality teachers in order to take not only the use the benefit of what you call benefit of autonomy, but also participate in holistic development of the learner along with family. The parents are important as far as the teaching learning process is also important. And hence it is the feeling talks about recognizing, identifying, and fostering unique capability of each student, whether it is skill development, whether it is through outcome based education, whether it is distance education, or for that matter multiple entry multiple exit phenomena. It is finally promoting to the students holistic development, academic as well as non-academic spheres, and that is possible through dismantling the compartments. There is no hard separation of arts, science, extracurricular, co-curricular, vocational, academic streams, but it will be basically integration or ensure the unity and integrity of all knowledge. And that is possible through basically flexibility, conceptual understanding, creativity, and critical thinking. This will be, of course, coupled with a very important aspect when we talk about creating the global citizen to equip with what you call knowledge and skill to harness the global opportunities. It is the ethics, human and constitutional values like empathy, cleanliness, and so on, along with all other scientific temper, responsibility, equality, justice, basically are the part of national education policy to give the opportunity for holistic development. Life skill, multilinguistic, power of language, focus on the regular assessment. It is extremely important that instead of exam burden or the process, it should be inquiry driven, discussion based learning process using the technology very effectively. And hence we should not only respect the diversity and respect of local content as far as the curriculum is concerned, but it will give full equity and inclusion. The curriculum at level should be synergy, and teacher will play extremely important role. This we have discussed that there will be a light but tight regulatory framework, and education is a public service, and hence it will be having the same set of standards for public as well as private sector, along with autonomy, good governance, and empowerment concept. This is possible when we talk about creating the awareness of individuals' role and responsibility, which is important to instill the deep-rooted pride in being Indian. not only in thought, but also in spirit, intellect, and deeds, as well as to develop the knowledge, skill, values, and dispositions that support responsible commitment to human rights, sustainable development, and living, along with global well-being, thereafter reflecting as a truly global citizen. As you know that we talk about well-rounded creative individual that we need to create, and of course depending upon 21st century capabilities, along with different subjects, the quality of higher education must enable the person not only accomplishment and enlightenment, constructive public engagement, and productive contribution to the society, and he should be basically more meaningful, satisfying life and work role. When he enters the world of work, he should be able to perform the duty as a global citizen. Though we know the problems faced by the present education system, like that is compartments in education, less flexibility, limited access, and so inadequate mechanism of merit-based career management, inefficient regulatory system, and large affiliating university system, resulting in low standard of undergraduate education. The national education policy is not only addressing these issues but providing the great solutions along with the determined outcome uh, by the key changes, like moving towards multidisciplinary education and multidisciplinary undergraduate education, and empowerment as well as autonomy of faculty and institutional at institutions, revamping curriculum, pedagogy, assessment, student support, faculty autonomy, as well as great flexibility and freedom of decision making. And it is said that at every stage there will be at least one HEI in every district, and large multidisciplinary education to have more and more people coming to higher education and creating. As you know that yesterday only government of India has declared the special package for making India as a hub for not only digital marketing but the display and semiconductors manufacturing hub. So I'm sure that which requires the multidisciplinary expertise to understand the product and uh, also the technology, and hence the university will become more and more basically a center for higher learning as well as research, and autonomous degree granting colleges will give more emphasis on multidisciplinary education. This is, of course, it will happen into stage manner, and it will the one of the most important aspect is the open distance learning, which is very important that these standards or this program should have the same standards of the formal program, as they are required to be also accredited with the same set of parameters, and hence they will basically offer the or ensure the uh, highest quality education standards. So it is towards more holistic and interdisciplinary education, which will not only have the skill development as a component. As you know that every level, the skill education will become part of the curriculum. It will be mapped in the attainment level, that the skill, whether it is mathematical skill, computational skill, designing skill, problem solving skill, analysis skill. Not only that, but also the most important is, as you know, that data science, which is now making entry in every field along with artificial intelligence. So it will be basically combination of different disciplines to make not only enhance the credit based system or what we discuss about academic bank of credit, that will really give flexibility of the students to not only uh, pursue the study of particular courses but also programs and also the institution, and hence it will be basically more focusing on developing the creativity and research mind. As you know that optimal learning will always be possible when we have the flexibility and choice based credit system, and basically each program will be a comprehensive and making the combination of different subjects, different faculty, and which will ensure the high quality. And hence the curriculum is required to be designed and developed by basically the people involved in educational aspect. Norms and standards and guideline of the for this systematic development or semester system regulation accreditation will be the mandatory for all the HEIs that will be either formal education or on ASC. And as you know that there is always possibility for every higher education institution to reach the standard which will be accepted globally and then create the distant position in the international education area. Large number of international students, whether it is our students are going out or the international students coming to our institution, will be of great help. And I'm sure that it is not only the research scholars or teachers in exchange program, but also it will give altogether different perspectives that the selected universities from among top 100 universities may also start operating in collaboration. But of course, every higher education institution can set up in basically offices for internationalization of the programs in the autonomous system. Well, as you know that there will be, of course, a requirement of support to the students in terms of incentive, merits, philanthropic, what you call scholarship, fellowships, and it will be great opportunity for participating in sports, culture, and holistic development. And hence the faculty, as it is mentioned that it should be the faculty motivated, energized and capable, along with tenure track aspect, and who will be not only specialized but who will be also having the bank of real world problems to be solved in tutorials. As you know that the attainment level is mapped when the students are known for their attainment level and capability to apply their knowledge into the practical work. And hence in the tutorial, when it is the problems are given, so think, share and solve mechanism will always make the students retain the concept of the application concept and its application. And hence the pedagogic approach within the framework is required to be developed by the well trained teachers. Well, of course, equity and inclusive is ensuring not only the holistic development of all the section, along with ensuring the outcome-based education, either formal education and distance education, and hence the local and Indian languages will provide the great opportunity for increasing the GER as well as improving the uh, access to the different section in the society. Basically, this is how the mechanism talks about that every HEI should develop the institutional development plan and also create the academic offerings to the students in the interdisciplinary and multidisciplinary areas, and create the innovative combination of the subjects, uh, absolutely creating the autonomy to the faculty, and also developing the either the bridge courses and so on. So basically the HEIs will play extremely important role, and because they will become multidisciplinary large educational institution providing multidisciplinary programs as well as undergraduate, postgraduate and research facility to the student. And hence when we talk about that NRF, it is well established to support the research of the, as you know that this is in addition to the existing funding agencies which will talk about the outcome based research. As you know that the Indian research needs to reorient for creating the intellectual properties such as utility patents, uh, copyrights, patents, and which are and hence the research we need to be developed at every research academic institution, and there will be the licensing between researcher and relevant branch of from industry as well as government in the National Research Foundation. As you know that the professional education is becoming the part of your formal integration, whether it is vocational education, but agriculture, education, law, and medical is not part of higher education, but basically is to be, of course, as you know, that legal education needs to be competitive globally and adopting the best practices, embracing new technology to for wider access to and timely delivery of justice. Healthcare education need to be re-envisaged so that the duration, structure, design of educational programs need to match the role requirements that the graduates will play. Basically, though these fields are already interconnected, but they need to be identify the areas of common domain to support and strengthen each other. As it is said that, of course, the language, arts, culture, as we discussed that, it will be all kinds of education provided into the either local, regional, or spoken languages, so that it will be easy for students to not only learn but also retain the ideas, and hence high quality learning will be possible through these languages, and also the availability of textbooks, workbooks, videos, plays, poems, novels, magazine, use of IT will also be a part of promoting the education through Indian languages. It is, of course, great emphasis is given about initiative to foster the language, arts, and culture, as well as more and more program in mother tongue, local languages as a medium of instruction, high quality programs along with the degrees in translation and interpretation and touring by HEI student to different parts of the country, which will not only give boost to the tourism but also understand and appreciate diversity, culture, tradition, knowledge of different parts of country, and understand also the philosophy and the languages and the culture of different parts. These are some of the areas which the Sanskrit and all Indian languages institutes and department across the country will be significantly strengthened, because as you know that the Sanskrit will be mainstream with strong offerings in school, including one of the languages option of the three language formula, and hence, as you know, that there is a vast knowledge available in Sanskrit, which is required to be unfold and unfolded. And I'm sure that when the National Institute for Pali, Parsi, and Prakrit, along with all other languages, as you know that the languages we are rich in language culture, and surely the students will be uh, very comfortable for undertaking their education in local language. I'm sure that these aspects, which are inclusive of uh, whether it is flexibility through academic bank of credit, whether it is cognitive intelligence development or cognitive higher order skill development, whether it is interdisciplinary and multidisciplinary education along with holistic development, supporting the international learning platforms using technology like SWAYAM, MUX, ODL mechanism, or NPTEL. These all aspects are now the great opportunity for learner to come forward and make the education system very much very effective. The national education policy along with the implementation plan, the timeline, the outcome measurable deliverables, and the responsibility make a coordinated, whether it is immediately it can be implemented in short term or in medium term, which will require some more investment, and long term which will require more of investment for long term. And I'm sure that uh, it will be basically more like holistic development of the student. So if any participant have any question on any of the aspect of national education policy, I will be glad to satisfy their queries. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Sapka sir. You have given detailed, comprehensive explanation regarding NEP 2020 and covered almost all the areas like multidisciplinary and interdisciplinary education and research, academic bank of credit, Indian knowledge system, languages, culture and values, use of technology, what will be the outcome of NEP 2020. So thank you very much for covering all these aspects and making us crystal clear regarding NEP 2020. Now I will request participants to ask one by one their questions, any query if they have.
Somebody has put the what you call in the chat box the question. You can please take the question from the chat box also. There are some
Sure,
questions.
sir.
Yes, please.
Just read the question. It is there in the chat box.
Those who have asked, they can ask the question.
Yeah, there is one question to start with, sir. It is from Dr. Sanjay Dikshit. He's asking for Maharashtra has many aided colleges situated in rural or semi-urban areas. They have got NAAC accreditation also. But there is no funding from UGC and RUSA grant. Many have limitations. Is there any provision for general development funding in NEP?
Well, as you know that there needs to be creation of sustainable academic economic model for every institute. That means the resource generation, the involvement of a philanthropic what you call contribution, as well as creating research funding, extension activities, consultancy, as well as you know that there are different ways and means to create the what you call reserve fund or corpus fund for every institution. Though through the research funding, it has to be nationally competitive project that one has to take. And I'm sure that now the RUSA also has definitely the provisions to support affiliated colleges. So affiliated colleges should also put forward their strong projects which has relevance, which has impact on social development, as well as what you call impact on ecology, economics, and so on. So definitely there is possibility of
in the chat box. I
strengthening
have
their
seen the
financial
question.
status. Thank you.
Yeah, can we go ahead with next question, sir?
Yes, please.
Yeah. People are asking about what and all are the requirements for any course to be in a credit course.
One should understand basically the definition of credit. One credit is considered equivalence to 1 hour of theory and 2 hours of practical work for a duration of 13 to 15 weeks in a semester. And hence, when we talk about credit, it is the number of contact hours and then the total hours of teaching. Once it is said that it is for example 4 lectures in a week is that is 4 credits for a particular program, and in a particular system it can be 4 subjects, 2 practicals put together, something like 25 credits, 25 credits, and hence it is necessary that we need to create the complete structure. For example, AICTE has produced the model curriculum for undergraduate engineering program with 160 credits. So some credits are given to the project and internship also, and so we need to have the complete credit for the complete program of 3 years or 4 years, giving the credit to individual course. When we talk about this credit structure, it should be either the credit dedicated to the core subject, core elective subjects, then open elective subject, and what you call interdisciplinary subject. So basically that will give you opportunity to have the credits from different set of subjects, electives, and that will make more interdisciplinary approach in teaching learning. So that will really give you flexibility in credit earning. And when you earn the credit, as I explained, that academic bank of credit, it can be deposited for a period of 7 years, and then that can be done with the you can reuse it actually. Okay.
Yeah. There is one more question popping up. Dr. L.V. Padmarani Rao. He's asking about how the colleges clubbed in NEP 2020. When every college in Maharashtra is run by some different societies and management. So what
Yeah,
would
I'll
be the
just-
policy for clubbing and restructuring of the institutions?
Yeah, sorry. As you know that the concept of knowledge hub, creating knowledge hub or clustering, um, or bringing together the colleges of the same management together can offer them the possibility of sharing the facility and faculty and strengthening their opportunity, their educational system. But if out of, as you know that many times it is called collaboration, it is called basically linkages. As you know that many of the academic institutions conduct the programs in jointly, sharing the facility and faculty. So it is not just combining, though their identity can be still retained. The linkages is based on sharing of facility and faculty on a term mutually acceptable and which is workable. And it is basically that we can really share these facilities through this mechanism. So it is the concept which should be accepted among the institutions, instead of everyone is trying to do the same thing, and then depending upon their capability they face a lot of problems. So for to fulfill the requirement, they can join the hands to strengthen their process. Thank you.
Yeah, that is important question. How in different phases the NEP will be implemented? Can you throw some light on it? I think this is very much important. Rajesh Joshi is asking this question in chat box.
Yes, as you know that every state has drawn their plan for implementation of provisions of NEP based on the what you call whatever is already covered in the existing system, based on what you call uh, the planning for implementation and restructure. As you know that the implementation is based on uh, rather by contribution from central government, state government, universities, and colleges. At these four levels, it will be implemented. Now, every college should prepare the academic plan of their institution in order to increase the more number of what you call academic offerings or programs of interdisciplinary. However, that is possible by creating the prospective plan by the universities, which are affiliating these colleges. The prospective plan will decide which are the programs can be started by which institute in which region, so that they can expand their academic offerings. After that, the state government, along with all universities in the state, can form the state implementation program. And as you know that all put together at the central level, it will be supported. This implementation needs, of course, the financial support, mentoring, and guidance by the both state government, central government, as well as university. As you know that the large number of institutions are required to be accredited, and surely they will be basically making these plans. So in the phase manner, it is also very clearly mentioned that affiliation system will go in phase manner by creating degree granting autonomous institution after graded autonomy through the NAAC or different accreditation agency. And then once they achieve this competency, they will become academic autonomous institution giving degrees. and some in universities will become teaching intensive university and research intensive university. But of course, the mechanism is required to be worked out along with the provisions in the existing act, statutes, ordinances of the university, and which will really bring together this process of multidisciplinary education. Thank you.
There is some other, one other type of question. It is from Shri Pradeep Ingleji. He is asking for what about the sports and physical education, because there is no clear guidelines in education policy about the sports and physical education institutions or the departments. Kindly throw some light on it.
Yeah. In fact, the education policy combines the knowledge across the disciplines, including sports, arts, education, physical education, science, professional education, vocational education, humanities, social sciences, and so on. So it is the integration, the part of higher education. It will be not the independent or separate entity. It will be part of higher education system. In fact, the physical education and sports will become interdisciplinary education system. They will bring in lot of technology, lot of sciences, humanities, social sciences, home sciences. So large number of new areas will become part of physical education, and physical education also will become part of higher education. Thank you.
Miss Dr. Sonali is asking about, kindly guide us on the concept of what is the Center for Excellence for Educational System.
As you know that whether it is Center of Excellence is basically that outcome of high-end research of integration, that is masters and PhD level expertise in particular chosen field. Like if you want to create basically center of excellence in a chosen area, for example, now we talk about hydrogen economy, we talk about electric vehicle, we talk about marine science, and also these are the fields where we can really create the center of excellence, bringing together the expertise of different field of very high level and create excellence. Means, of course, the excellence will give you the product and process which is acceptable by the industry and which is backed by the performance guarantee by the bankers. Which is what is happening in Germany and other places, that they talk about the acceptable outcome of the research, which will really either the change game changer in industrial production. As I mentioned, that semiconductor and display industries are coming in a big way, or the sports industry or the toys industry in our country is coming in a big way. So basically, the center of excellence, whether it is design, whether it is engineering, has to go hand in hand, and the center of excellence will create the technology which will impact either productivity, quality, cost of production, energy, and environment. I'm sure that this center of excellence will give the concrete policy document in that field. Thank you.
Yeah, now may I request Kalyan, Professor Kalyan, kindly ask your question. Yeah, you are unmuted. You can ask the question, please.
Sir. You talked about credit and teaching learning flexibility. Can you tell us something more about academic credit bank and teaching learning flexibility?
I think I have explained the academic bank of credit in detail. So you can see the recorded lecture. If it is getting recorded, you can go through it. But basically, it is the concept like National Academic Depository, and there will be the account, a unique account for the student, and which will be recommended and by the his college or higher education institution, and then he can deposit his credit. In short, I am telling you, for 7 years, and then he can not only accumulate verification as well as transfer and use his credit for again going back to his studies, either the same study or different programs of different institution. So it will give him great flexibility of teaching learning process. Thank you.
Yes.
the question. Dhyan Dev. You are unmuted. Kindly you may ask the question, please. Balachandra Power. Chandra Power.
Yes, what is the question?
Balachandra Power, you can, yeah. You can ask the question, please.
Yeah.
Go ahead, sir. Go ahead. You're audible.
Sir, just I want to ask regarding that national academic depository that is to be done to the locker. Just I have tried and over there I have checked out the university they have registered, but not the affiliated colleges. So does the affiliated colleges also need to register, or if it is, what is the procedure for that?
Yes, you can go.
Being a degree awarding institute.
Yeah, basically you can see first of all the regulation related to ABC, and the eligibility of the institutions are also mentioned. So if you are fulfilling the eligibility, you will be able to, because I have seen already few universities already registered, and as you know that if you are the affiliated institution, not the degree granting institution, then your examination and credit structures are controlled by the affiliating university. So it's like academic depository, national academic depository, where the students records as well as awards are digitally stored. Similar to this, the credits which are earned by the students after passing the examination will be certified by the university or higher education institution which are registered there, and then the students will be given this unique account number and he can deposit his credit through the university. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Mr. Amit Kadam. Amit Kadam. Amit Kadam. Yeah, Professor Buvaso, he has asked a question. What will be the future of non-accredited institutions?
Okay. As you know that whether it is accredited or not accredited, there is no choice now. So one has to ensure the quality of their educational system to the students, because only the every institution should get accredited, should get prepared as per the 7 criteria by NAAC, and NAAC is doing excellent job for supporting, creating awareness, and also making very friendly mechanism for accreditation. So it is when we are entering into the field of education and research, it is necessary that we create the benchmark of our own standard, and also it should be sustainable quality assurance and also going towards the excellence. So accreditation is must, and those who cannot is difficult to get accredited, they should get prepared, and they should get, there is a lot of areas like margadarshak and mentoring and lead institution supporting them. The university will support, the state government will support, but every institution should get accredited. Otherwise, it is difficult for them to keep the space with the development with other institution. The students will not only get take admission in the accredited institution, but also ranking institution, whether it is national ranking or whether it is QS ranking. So there is this is a tough era of competition of quality. So everyone should get accredited.
Sir, Dr. Shyam Ganveer. Dr. Shyam Ganveer. You can ask the question. You are unmuted. Dr. Bulbile SD, Principal.
Sir, I'm audible. Dr. Shyam Ganveer here.
Yeah, please, sir, please.
Sir, my small question. Actually, my college has been accredited with NAAC in second cycle. we found that we have got very less mark in the research and innovation. The reason for that, we are not getting any grants from the external fundings are not available because the reason is for that our university is not providing the permanent affiliation, which is the important document to add our college under the section of 12B UGC. If the college get added under 12B UGC, the funding will be increased. So that provision is not there in the Maharashtra University of Health Science. So what we can do, sir?
Okay, so your source of problem is less marks in your research and research criteria.
Yes.
As you know that NAAC has defined every criteria explicitly, that
Yeah.
they give the weightage, they give also the sub criteria. Around 117 key indicators are there, and in 7 criteria weightage calculation. So basically what is important is the quality research, which will lead to quality publication. And as you know that it is 70% of data database assessment and 30% of peer visit, but quality assessment. But data also has direct connection with your quality assurance. So basically,
Hello.
if you have difficulty in resulting into the high quality research, then in that case you can have collaboration with some research institution and industry, which will improve the what you call quality of the publication, and then H index and citation index, and also the research projects and consultancy. These 3 areas will really fetch you good marks, and that will improve your what you call overall grade of the by NAAC. However, the university has now made the policies for affiliation. That means universities are also asking all the colleges to create the quality performance, and then only they will link with it to the affiliation. Either it is extension of affiliation or permanent affiliation, and then only the permanent affiliation, that is interconnected. That means you should have a good grade in NAAC, then only you will get permanent affiliation, and then only you will get approval of 12 2B and 12F, and then you will get the eligibility for the funding from different agencies. So all aspects are connected with quality assurance, and for that slowly we have to work for improving the quality in every parameter, and hence you will be able to gain it. It is not the system, it is the teachers driven, it is also the facilities. But if like every teacher should be member of National Digital Library, now the resources are very much available. There are around 4 crore books are available in digital form, run by IIT Kharagpur, and National Depository is there, National Library is there. So basically the resources are available. So it is even if the research need not be high-ended research, it can be regional based research topic that you can have it. And I'm sure that you will be able to get good grade in NAAC, as well as you will be able to get the permanent affiliation from the university. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Yeah. Now the next caller, due to lack of time, we will have the last question. Vadaskar, kindly you may ask your question, madam. Smita, madam, you're unmuted. You can kindly ask your question.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Am I audible, sir?
Yes, madam, you are
Am
audible.
I audible? Yes. So, I'm Dr. Smita Vadaskar from Darbare College of Commerce, Pune, and we have acquired the autonomous status from this current year. Now, we had sent a mail to NAAC in order to get the extension of our earlier grade. We received A grade from NAAC, and because we received autonomy, this CGPA and the grade will be continued for the next 5 years. So we had sent a letter to NAAC in order to get the extension of the grade certificate. So NAAC told us that we have to return our original certificate as well as quality profile. These 2 things we have to submit to the NAAC office Bangalore, and NAAC will give us the validity extension certificate. But we have misplaced our quality profile. We have got
I think we are
quality
shifting
profile.
from national education policy to more of NAAC procedure. But nevertheless, madam, you can always communicate
Actually,
with
sir,
NAAC.
since the past 4 to 5 months, we have been communicating with NAAC. This is our problem, that we have misplaced our quality profile. So what do we need to do? And we have not got any specific answer that we need to come to Bangalore, or what do we need to do to get this quality profile which we have misplaced. So I thought that I would ask you this question.
Maybe somebody from NAAC can
Okay.
help us.
Okay, yes, Sapkalji.
Yes,
See,
please.
it's very easy. First, you whatever the things are there, you put it from your HEI portal. You put it in IMS issue management system. Writing the detail, we will respond for the same. Okay, we have a
Issue
very
management
active issue
system.
management system. You please put a query there. Okay, because this is
Okay.
specific program for national education policy, so we may focus on that. If any query is there related to the NAAC, we request the participant to put it in issue management system from your HEI portal. We'll respond.
Okay, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir, for your wonderful presentation. A very good afternoon to one and all present here. The Honorable Speaker of today's program, respected Director, sir, distinguished invitees of today's webinar program. It is my privilege to propose a vote of thanks on this special occasion. We extend our heartfelt thanks to Dr. V.S. Sabkal, sir, Vice Chancellor, MGM University, for his wonderful presentation and very clear information. You have answered all the queries of the stakeholders of higher education institutions. Thank you very much, sir.
My pleasure.
My heartfelt thanks to our Honorable Director, Professor S.C. Sharma, sir, for his constant support and encouragement. He's always been an inspiration to all of us to organize such events. Thank you very much, sir. I take this opportunity to express our sincere gratitude to all the participants, the Honorable Vice Chancellors, Principals, Professors, staff members of higher education institutions of Maharashtra. Thank you, sir. I sincerely thank the Western Region team headed by Dr. Devendra Kaude, sir, Dr. Leena Ghane, madam, Dr. Prashant, sir, Dr. A.V. Prasad, sir. Thank you for organizing this program. I sincerely thank Professor Ame Kumar Raj, sir, Mr. Samuel, and Mrs. Pushya Lakshmi for their technical support. Thank you all. So officially, let us end today's meeting. Thank you all once again.
Thank you so much.
Namaste, sir.
Yes, thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Very brief.